All right, collectors, thanks for joining me today. Here we are, as promised, getting a closer look at the HG-P408 RC-controlled vehicle, otherwise known as the Humvee, which many of us service members got a chance to ride in and operate. Yeah, so you know what, let's just start out with a little bit of a background on what this bad boy meant to me, kind of a background on how we got this thing, and then we'll move on to the, kind of get some thoughts, in a timely situation here. We just got our vamp, right? And I gave you guys kind of a comparison in size with this. If you want to take a look at my previous video last week, I think, with the vamp versus this guy. This guy it's in a class all its own. It's nowhere, it's heads and tails. I mean, it's just way above. This is in another ballpark than the vamp. It's just another ballpark. So it's really hard to compare the two because they're in two different ballparks. So number one, the interesting part I was going to tell you is that the vamp was actually developed by Lamborghini, or a version of the vamp, very, very close to what it looks like, was developed by Lamborghini in hopes of Lamborghini selling this, that vamp to be the Humvee for the United States military. That was the hope. It didn't work out. The vamp did not win. I believe they did it in 1977, 78 or something like that. But the vamp wasn't the winner. Who won was AM General. In 1979, the Army finished some specs on basically their replacement for the Jeep. The Jeep had at that point been in service, through Vietnam, through the Korean War, through a bunch of different conflicts, and it was just time to switch it out. It was a workhorse and it served its purpose and its function, but it was time to modernize that particular, workhorse. It's time to get a new workhorse, a modern one. And so in 1981, AM General delivered a prototype, and in 1983, these bad boys entered service. Several years thereafter, your boy, 209 Ed, joined the military. I won't say how many years after, but it was quite a few years after that. Quite a few, let's just say that. I was still a kid in the early 80s. I was a very, very small kid in the 80s when this, but I do remember seeing these roll out, and I remember thinking how cool they are. I don't think I'd even entered my teens in the 80s. Anyways, that's enough about that. When this bad boy came along, it started to modernize the Army. I'll tell you a funny story as it relates to me and this vehicle. I won't tell you the sad ones, but I will tell you a funny one. But anyways, another thing that you'll notice about this vehicle, and I don't know if most of you understand, this vehicle, when it was deployed in 1983, came in a ton. The reason they took it is because it went way above and beyond what the Army had spec'd for it. So of course the Army was going to pick this thing. If they could develop it for less than what they thought, and it went above and beyond the expectations or specs set for the Army, of course it was going to pick this thing. So essentially this thing, I think, came in like 14 different configurations. It's very, very configury. Like you can strip this half off, put another thing in the back, take this part off, and put another different weapons platforms on it. All kinds, it can be an ambulance, it can be a weapons platform, it can be a troop carrier. If you've been in the service for as long as, well, if you had even been in the service, you would understand that the Army tries to use things that have more than just one purpose. We try to make use of something as much as we can, right? We don't want it to just do one specific thing unless it's you know, not possible to get it to do any, you know, anything else other than that. But this little guy right here is the ultimate definition of multi-purpose. And thus its name, right? High mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle. So many things this thing can do. So let's just start out with saying that this is not a machine gun. Look, this is not a machine gun. This is, okay, look, let's just start here. What configuration? Number one, the most common form of the Humvee is not this. This is not a common form. This is actually a little bit armored because it has the heavier doors and it has the canopy up here for the weapons mount. Most Humvees are not like this. The doors are just literally a sheet of plastic and the top is covered. That's it. And on top of that, most Humvees, well, when I was in, didn't have this. You guys see that? The muffler didn't come out the top. You know what the difference was mostly in my time? If you saw this on a Humvee, guess which service was driving it? Do you guys want to know what branch of the military was driving it? I'll give you 2 seconds. Marines. Marines were the ones that had this on the top. The Army had the exhaust on the back because Marines sometimes get in the water. And what happens when you have the exhaust of a vehicle in the water? Not good. Not good things happen. So you want it to be up here at the top part. So anyways, so yeah, the Humvee comes in a bunch of different configurations. Some of the weapons platforms that it can sustain, or that I've seen it configured in, the M1, the M134, 135, the M2, this guy, the GAU-19. I never saw one like that, but I've heard of it. The M240, seen that. The M249, otherwise known as the SAW, can be mounted up there as well. And what is this? What could this possibly be? This is a grenade launcher. This is an MK-19 grenade launcher. It's not a machine gun. So anyways, for tactics, the best way to deploy a Humvee or a team of Humvees, you probably want to, is you want a Humvee with an MK-19, and then you want a Humvee with a machine gun. A 50 cal would be good, or a SAW would be good, something to lay down suppressive fire. Because while you're laying down suppressive fire with one, the troop elements that you have in are getting down and positioning themselves around the enemy. So you're pinning down the enemy, you're getting in position to flank them, and then on top of that, this grenade launcher can start to shoot from above and land on top of the enemy. So pinning, getting into position for a flank maneuver, and then softening the target up with depth from above up here. Anyways, that's enough of tactics. Just thought you'd like to know that is possibly one of the best scenarios that you could have against another lightly armored enemy. So moving on from that, I've also seen it. Well, I have not seen it. I've also heard, there's 2 things that I've heard that I never saw, that it can be configured as an air defense type. It's called the Avenger, and it has Stinger missiles mounted in the back. So almost like a Stinger, like a Cobra Stinger. And it's called the Avenger configuration. And then these vehicles were just never meant, when they initially were designed, they were designed to be like troop carriers and transports. They were never meant to be frontline attack vehicles. I mean, that developed because of their survivability in combat. They were developed with that in mind, but they were never meant to do that. You know, the up-armored stuff came much later, after it was thrown into service for urban combat. But that was not what this was designed for. This was designed kind of to replace the Jeep, right? Just a vehicle to get back and forth real quick. This was an afterthought, and a lot of the up armor was an afterthought, but it did the job really well. Now, recently, I think most troops now, I mean, the Humvee's still out there, but a lot of more, if you're frontline combat, you're going to be using the MRAP This is what an MRAP looks like. I'll put a picture of it up here. And so that's what most frontline combat units will be using now. Not this. This is not. You probably wouldn't want to be caught in a firefight with this. I mean, this is better than nothing, but an MRAP would probably, you know, handle it better. So anyways, that's enough rambling on about that. Let's get into this thing. Funny story. Last thing I'm going to tell you about a funny story, how this relates to me. The funniest thing that ever happened to me in a Humvee. Well, one of these vehicles was assigned to me. I had a vehicle assigned to me, and out of nowhere comes Top, and he says, "Hey, troop." Top is a first sergeant, one of the highest ranking NCO in your company-sized element. He comes over to me and says, "Hey, troop, need you to take me down to HQ. Let's go. Light discipline. Get in, let's go." So what that means is, and I don't know if this vehicle has it. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you these. Looks like it does. Here, let me see if I can turn this over a little bit. There's a set of lights up here, and I believe this one right here in the middle with a little covering on it is kind of what we call the cat's eye. And what that is a sliver of light that you have. And so when you don't want the enemy to see everything, you turn that one on. It could be this one, could be anyways. I thought it's one of these that's up here at the front. I don't know, but ultimately, Top said, "Hey, listen to me. When it's going to be dark out there, so when I tell you to turn right, turn right." And I was like, "Yes, Sergeant. Yes, First Sergeant." Or "Yes, Top." Whatever. I don't know what I said. It was something around that. That's not the funny part. So there we are, cruising, moving pretty quickly, seeing as best as I can. And then Top says, "Turn here." and I turned hard, because he said to follow his directions exactly. And then we proceeded to go off-roading. Top, lots of curse words coming out of Top's mouth. And then he said, "Stop." He said, "Why did you turn right there?" And "Because you told me to, Top." He said, at the other street. I couldn't see that well anyways. Ended up, all right. We didn't flip it in a ditch or nothing. We took out a couple of small, saplings, put it in reverse, got out of there and headed on back to HQ. Anyways, it was funny to me because later on when I played it in my head, Top, we didn't always use seat belts. And Top was bouncing all over that Humvee. Anyways, moving on. Let's get back to this. Funny stories. I got a lot of stories. But anyways, getting back into this. The other thing I want to talk about is scale. There's something off. I think it's a 1/10 is what they say, and that might be it. But I want you to see something. Humvees were about 6 feet tall, and I think Breaker is about 6 feet tall. That is, if you put Breaker right up, and even with this helmet, that's like another foot. So these are like 7 feet tall. Because I remember being able to stand here and just regular, like put my arm on top of it, kind of like that. But that leaves them with like another foot down underneath him if you do that. So yeah, it's a little off scale, and that makes sense because it's a 1/10 scale. But then here's the weird part about it, and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about, is that, and I love this little latch on the door. Look at that. It's an actual working latch, and it opens and it comes out. He is one of the smaller Joes, and he barely, he's got some space above him, but barely. Does he fit in there well? Yes. He can hold the steering wheel well. He can sit in there well. There's plenty of room for his feet there. But I don't know if, there's a little room still up there, but he shouldn't be. If this is a 1/10 scale, there should be a lot more room in there, right? Now, on the back over here, there tends to be a lot more room, I think. You see that? There's a lot more room over here. let's put Breaker back here. I know Breaker's taller than him, so let's put him in there. Now again, I'm not doing this as an RC perspective. We're gonna take it out and give it a spin in a minute. I'm doing this from a G.I. Joe perspective, right? You know, how is this thing gonna fit into our dioramas, into our displays? Oh yeah, well, again, I mean, if he fits well in there, but if it's a 1/10 scale, I'd expect to see him with a lot more room. It's almost perfect in size, but it seems a little tight, and that's why I'm thrown off a little bit with the 1/10 scale. It just seems odd. I would say to you that this is great for G.I. Joes, because look how I didn't have to fiddle with it or jerk around with it. He just fits right in there and he sits right in there. So anyways, there's that. Let me pull them out of here. Other little thing is these seats are actually like soft leather. They're like cushions. And I don't know if any one of you, well, some of you were not in the military, but there was not a lot of cushion here. And it does actually remind me of the very thin layer of cushion here. It was mostly metal. So anyways, very nicely designed there. So yeah, the little latches work, the doors open. I love that you can do that. It does, I mean, it's an RC car, so yeah, it's gonna have some, it has a little, both of these, and this is actually true to life because this moves and this moves. So I love that that's going on there. I remember having to adjust these quite a bit. You also have a latch up here. Now this grenade launcher comes off if you don't want to have it on there. And this door closes just like that. And there's a latch up here. Let me see if I can pick this up and show you. There's a little latch up here that you move that pops this open. So I love that about it. And it actually latches back in there. So there you go. I love that. Let's set it back down again here. Oops. There we go. Get it back in there. It also has these working latches here, and this is true to life. We also had this. Let me see if I can open this real quick. That opens there, and there's another latch, same thing on the other side. Opens there. There you go, comes off, and it reveals, whoa, it knocks over the street pole over here. It reveals the engine compartment, which is pretty neat. Look at that, got all that engine, inner workings in there. Love that detail. I mean, you can truly have your troops working on that. Cover girl elbow deep in that stuff. So let's close this bad boy back up. Love that it's the actual mechanics of the Humvee, which is fantastic. Also, this back part opens back here. Here, let me see if I can, and look at that. This is actually true to life as well. You see this part right here? Move this out the way. You see this? This is true also. You do this in the real one also. So anyways, let's just put that one back there. I don't like how loose that is, but anyways, it's fine. Let's move the MK19 out of the way. Let's move this little guy out of the way. Let's look at the back real quick because I wanted to show y'all something. It's very neat. On the back, very true to life as well. Let me move this camera back a tiny bit. I am having fun showing you guys this stuff. So on the back, you've got these little working, this is exactly how it was in the Army. These little things just latch on in there, and they're working metal chains. I told you, the detail on this is way, I mean, it's way far and above beyond the vamp. It just is. This drops down just like in the Army, plop. And then this pops open from the back. And then you have a 50 cal back here with the stand. These don't come out. These are locked into place. And here's where you put the battery for the LiPo battery for the vehicle when it takes off. These are, I don't know, well, they feel like pneumatics, so I mean, they might be, I don't know, but I like the way it stays up and then it easily comes back down, and this little latch is there to help you pick it up. So now when you turn it on, I'm going to show you everything that comes on, but these lights come on. You have these lights come on, and they actually are turn lights, which is amazing to me. These turn lights work, the turn lights work, the brake lights work when you're driving it, and the reverse lights work when you're driving it. This thing is out of control. And yes, you've got beams in the front. The headlights work; those turn on, and the signal lights turn on in the front, which is absolutely, I mean, the attention to detail on this thing is off the charts. I mean, I did not expect the level of detail that they provide. Now let me see if I can get this in here. I may just have to edit this part out. All right, that just took a minute. All right, let's close it up here. You also have some hitch things that you have down here. I mean, I guess this is for like, well, this is a hitch down here for mounting stuff, and it actually works. It opens up here and it's spring loaded, which is amazing. That's pretty cool. And then these guys, we used to use when you're gonna, when I was in the airborne unit, you have some at the front and you have some at the back. You hook chains to it if you load it on a C-130, and then hook it to the sides of the plane so it doesn't move around. Or was it a C-130? I think it was a C-1, or was it the bigger ones, the Galaxy? What was it? Anyways, these are just to secure it. If you're on a boat or a plane, because they will go on both, you secure it down so it doesn't move. All right, let's power this sucker up so you can see some of the electronics in it, which are pretty cool. All right, guys, let me see if I can do this without causing a catastrophe up here. So, as you can see, the lights are lit up right there. Let me see if I can start it. Hold on. Y'all hear that? That is very loud. It's very, very loud. This is the remote control. Let me see if I can get it in picture that comes with it. It is massive, and it's got a ton of different options on here. Some of them will make it honk. Let me see if I can do it. There you go. There's a lot of options on here. Very configurable controller, just amazing. Anyways, let's see, did I miss anything? Oh, I forgot to tie this on. Anyways, you guys let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to answer any more questions that you might have. I am very happy with this Humvee purchase. Very happy. Ecstatic, really. I couldn't have asked. Number one, I wish the scale was tweaked a little bit, but that's my only gripe. The figures fit in there well. It's highly detailed, highly accurate. The turret swivels. And I think what I'm going to do is get some gridiron weapons and put them on here. That's going to be amazing, because I think I'm able to take this and actually fit it onto, or create an adapter to fit it on here. And we can put all kinds of different weapons on there now, all kinds of different weapon platforms on it. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get it. Hey, you know what? Let's take a look at it in action. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Anyways, guys, let's close with that. Thank you for watching. Appreciate every single one of you. I knew it took me a minute to get to this. I'm just hoping that one day Hasbro will find it within their infinite wisdom to either speak to, I think GM has the HUMMER license, and I think AM General still has the Humvee license. Either one, I don't know which one, but either one of those companies get with them and gets us a G.I. Joe version of the Humvee in 1/12 scale. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Now, is it going to be as crazy tricked out as this one? I don't need it to be, but boy, that would be something, wouldn't it? That would be one hell of a HasLab. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope I answered most of your questions. If not, of course, leave me a comment down below. Let me know, and I'll do my best to answer it. As you guys know, this is my bread and butter. Love G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was 25% of why I got in the military. But thanks for watching. If I've inspired you, if I've informed you, if I've amused you, and you've gotten this far into the video, go ahead and give me a like and maybe a subscribe, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for watching. Hey, check out these scenes of it running around outside. Hey guys, before we get running around outside, here's a couple of shots of the interior. As you can see, it has a very well detailed dashboard up there. Trying to get in as close as possible with what I have. Here's a back seat. There's the radio. What did we call I forgot what the acronym was for that radio, but every Humvee had a radio on there. And usually the guy who's sitting shotgun was the operator.
Close your eyes.